first claim about how the immigrants would come and sit around in certain areas where they thought they could fit in and fester, I disagree completely because of my article, the Gillis Raymond, the news founder. He explains perfectly how immigrants come and they succeed in life because of their past challenges and how they
You were saying that, like, when they come, they just, like, sit at home or whatever.
Well, they don't sit at home, like, they sit in a neighborhood that they feel fit in.
Okay, but, like, what else would you say that they would do? Like, what else would you say that the immigrants come here to do? Because I have, like, this article that I found online that's by H.A. Goodman, and it's called Illegal Immigrants Benefit the U.S. Economy. And I guess it's not really, like, about this specific area, but it talks about how, like, the immigrants here, they come and they work, and that if they come and they work for the crops and they grow food, and if, like, about half of the hired workers employed in the U.S. crop agriculture were unauthorized, with overwhelming majority of these workers coming from Mexico. And the reality, however, is that if we deported a substantial number of undocumented farm workers, there will be a tremendous labor shortage. So, like, I feel like they play like an important role on, like, crop, like, the crops.
Like small jobs.
Yeah.
Talking about, like, because usually when
America's succeeding and stuff like that.
when immigrants, when Hispanic immigrants come to America, they don't like succeed as much in the educational system as most of us do. In the Washington Post, immigration and the idea of assimilation, it's like the children of immigrants, they tend to have a 30% less chance of going to college after high school or graduating from college to, like, non-Hispanic whites. So, like, they don't learn much.
But how come?
I saw a hand. Excuse me. Shane?
Alright, I agree with, like, what all of you are saying, like how George said, yes, it's a transformation or you're getting brainwashed, but think about what they're going through. Like, they came here because they want to be free, and if you think about it, like, you kind of have to go, you usually have to go through a process to get to where you want to go. So, like, what are, like, why do you think they left where they were to come here? Like, there's still discrimination, like, everywhere. Like, they come here and be like, oh, you're black, you're this, you're Mexican, ooh, Cubanito, whatever, like, you know, and like
if I can say something, that was pointed out to me, that we're talking about a simulation. Did I say right? Assimilation. We're talking about how people coming from other cultures and other countries have to change and things like that. If you take a big part of the ethnic group, which is Hispanics, how much have we implemented this Hispanic culture into the United States? That is, because looking at it,
Praise the Lord. George, keep going.
what happened? We've already implemented into our lives. There shouldn't be that much resistance from the immigrants, or that difficult for the immigrants to fit in, because we have Hispanics everywhere. It's a large part of our population in the United States. And also going off of what Blaxican said, in the early 1970s, President Richard Nixon, he categorized the 5 groups in the United States. These groups are being white, black, Asian Pacific, Islander, American Indian, Eskimo, and Hispanic. We already have them here. It's not like they're coming from somewhere where we don't have. It's not like they're coming to a country where there's not a point where they can't be accepted.
So, since Hispanics are very I agree with you, but since Hispanics are very like accepted in the U.S. and everything, how come Mexicans can't be accepted as much as the other Hispanic heritage? Such as,
True.
like, I think it's unfair. Like, you know, I know Americans have a lot of Mexican holidays, but yet there's still illegal immigrants. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Hold on, hand, and then you can have your.
I completely with you. I completely agree with you, George. But they're here, but they're being still discriminated against. Because, like in this article invoking Trump too, an anti-immigrant, Trump supporters beat up an homeless immigrant and beat on him because he was an immigrant. How is that okay?
Yeah.
In reality, it's not okay, but I believe that no matter where you go, you're always gonna have that ethnic group that believes that they're the best, that you shouldn't have another outsider group. And this is another thing that I wanted to branch off. We're talking about people coming to America and having to adjust to the American way. And I noticed something when I was looking through Mexicans and it was a question that I wanted to pose to the whole group, is there really an American way? We're a melting pot. We were built off of so many other ethnic groups. Can anybody tell me what the American way is? Is there an American way?
Hands. I'm gonna jump over here. Let's get a woman's voice in, and then we'll come back around.
In the poem Immigrants that I found online, written by Dan Swag, he was explaining how immigrants were a vital part to the to how the country is today. If it wasn't for immigrants, that the country wouldn't be as strong as it is now. He stated, they joined the melting pot that eventually made us one. Also, in the last stanza, he said, remember we all came from roots elsewhere, this is what makes our country great. So, if everyone came from different roots, that's what America is about, embracing everyone's differences. So why would they be forced to change? To adapt.
There is a point to where obviously you're coming from another country, you're coming thousands of miles away, but is there really a need, is it a reality that they're being forced to change? Because like you stated earlier, they have was it you or, I'm not totally for sure, but are they being forced or do they openly have the opinion, the option to, opportunity to be changed?
Shane, and then
I feel like it's more of an option, like what Danielle mentioned earlier, contradicting Matthew's idea of being brainwashed. Because just like when you're in school, or like, say for example, you're a new kid, you go to a new school, and it's just like, hey, I want to fit in, I don't want to be an outcast. So you go through this process or transformation, as you said earlier, to fit in and become one, so that you're accepted. So, disagreeing with you, agreeing with George.
Alright, I'd like to go back to one of George's first comments about what is the American way, and I'd like to use my source from Gittes Raymond. I quote from his one of his articles. The phenomenon that is called the American dream, coming from anywhere in the world and from any part of society, rich or poor, educated or uneducated, and achieving your dreams of wealth and success. That is the American way that I believe that you're asking about.
Your state.
It was Madeline had her hand.
I disagree with you because why should someone that comes from a different country totally drop all their culture and their beliefs just to accommodate a new country?
But they're not dropping.
let her finish.
I'm not saying they should influence other people to be them, but they could believe in what they want to believe, and the Americans shouldn't intervene with what they want to do with their personal beliefs.
Chloe, and then it'll come back.
I'm neither disagreeing or agreeing. I'm trying to elaborate more on this. I don't think everyone is on the same page as what Matthew is trying to say. I think what he's trying to pick up from that article is saying, you said nothing about race being involved with the American way. So I think what you guys are trying to confuse a little bit is that combining immigrants with the American way. I don't think the American way has to do anything with, what color your skin may be, or what your ethnicity is behind it, your nationality, etc., blah, blah, whatever. I don't think what he's trying to say is that in order to follow this process or way, tradition, whatever, you have to be a specific race, or you don't have to be American in order to do that, so just trying to.
Okay, pause. I'm gonna let Renata in. She hasn't said anything, and then rebuttals from both of you. Renata?
I wanna go back to what you were saying about the Hispanics weren't only the ones that came to the Americans to contribute in the economy. According to this article, challenges faced by immigrants in the 19th century, you were welcome or you were threatened. So it says that the Europeans were treated better than the Irish when they came to the United States, because the Irish were often categorized as immigrant sons, right? It's a and
Okay, elaborating on what Chloe said and Matthew's rebuttal to George. It said, George said, George, what was your question?
Is there really an American way?
And George said,
I said that the American way is really the American dream.
and it says right here, you said American way, and he said American dream. Said, this is a phenomenon called the American dream. The American way, I would say that's more of like a lifestyle, or like what you have to be like it'll be like, okay, you have to have like Hitler then. He was like blonde hair, blue eyes, perfect human or person. Not like referring it to like that, but like just like an idea, so you guys understand what I'm saying. Matthew said this is a dream where everyone just basically wants to be successful. They came because they want to be free and have like, yeah, they want to be free and like, you know, live happy just like every other person, I would assume. I don't think anyone would want to live miserably. And then, trying to go back to what Matthew said, but I don't remember.
You can ask her.
What did you say?
when
When you were disagreeing with what I said.
I was disagreeing with you because
You were saying that you
I was saying because no one should leave their beliefs behind in whatever country they came from.
Yeah, like I was back to the whole school reference, how you want to fit in. No one said you had to drop like what you were. I mean, you can still be yourself and a part of something else. Think of it almost like a puzzle piece. They not necessarily need you, but it would be nice to have you and like your ways, like, you know what I mean? And like there's still that one ignoramus